Good evening and welcome to the 2019 Stay Woke Speech and Debate Competition. My name is Professor Tiffany Knowles and I'd like to welcome all of you here today. So, today's competition was inspired by the stories from the Barry Buccaneer. That is our college newspaper, and I am the proud faculty advisor to that newspaper. If you have not seen a copy of our latest edition, the Winter 2019 edition, go ahead and pick it up. It's at the newsstand when you're leaving. And I'd like to just applaud our staff for doing such an amazing job. They say this is one of our best issues yet, and you'll hear some of the speeches today are inspired by some of the work from this edition as well as the Fall 2019 edition. They're also in the newsstands. Now, a few things before we begin. I'd like you all to know that the Barry Buccaneer is now on the web, which is an amazing accomplishment for us. We've been wanting to get on the web for a while. So please check us out at www.thebuck.org. www.thebuck.org. And I'm really proud because our web editor, Jahania Charles, is here, and I just want to applaud her for the work she's done on the web so far. She's also responsible for our Barry Buccaneer Instagram page. So if you're not on our Instagram, please check out our updates. And I know that I always recommend my students for doing this, but you can do this right now because we all are always with our phones. So definitely follow us on Instagram. I'll give you time to pick up your phones and do that. It's BU_Buccaneer. Okay, so follow us so you can know the updates, and then we're also going to celebrate the winners after this event on our Instagram, okay? So let us begin by inviting our hosts up for the evening. They'll be doing all the formality. I'm only here to do the first greeting. Okay, so I'd like to introduce the two hosts. They are staff writers with the Barry Buccaneer. Their names are Mishidael Seard and Brianna Lopez. Tonight, they will be the moderators. They'll be working on the flow and everything. They'll be calling the speakers up, all of the formalities and instructions. The next voices you'll be hearing will be Brianna's and Mishi's. Welcome them at this time.
Hi, everyone. We'd like to thank all of our faculty, staff, and student body who are here with us today in support of speech and debate. We'd especially like to thank our distinguished guest, the University Provost, Dr. John Murray, for being here today. So let's give him a round of applause.
Now, allow us to introduce the judges for this year's Stay Woke Speech and Debate Competition. Professor Jennifer Steele is the speech coordinator here at Barry and a professor of communications who also has a reputation as a thoughtful, motivational speaker. She is also the author of Your Best Speech Ever.
Dr. Sean Irwin is an associate professor of philosophy who specializes in medieval and Renaissance philosophy and has participated in numerous conferences worldwide.
Professor Jefferson Noel is a Haitian-American entrepreneur and professor of speech at Florida Memorial University. He is also an author of the book, Powerful Presenting. Dr. Lawrence Byrne is an associate professor of English, whose current scholarship is a translation of a short story by Marco Denevi.
Now, on our Stay Woke faculty board for our official question and answer session, we have Dr. Sean Foreman, Jimena Valdivia, and Jaden Amaro. Dr. Sean Foreman is a professor in the Department of History and the Political Science Department and an advisor for the College Republicans and Democrats Club on campus.
Jimena Valdivia is the manager of the University Archives and Special Collections, where she manages biographical and archival materials.
Jaden Amaro is the current AmeriCorps Vista for the Office of Mission Engagement, where he works on environmental sustainability through Barry's Ecological Sustainability Team. He is also the advisor for the Green Team.
We will now begin the competition. Each speaker will have 5 to 7 minutes to give their speech, followed by 2 questions, one from the faculty officials and one from our audience. They will be granted 45 seconds to respond to each question. If you have a question for one of our speakers, please approach the microphone after the student has concluded their speech. Our first speaker is Naja Hilson. She is a freshman and her major is pre-nursing. She will attempt to convince you that visible tattoos and body piercings should not be outlawed in the workplace. Her speech coach is Professor Tiffany Knowles. So let's applaud her as she comes to the stage.
Hello, my name is Naja Hilson. Good evening. I would like to thank you for taking the time to apply an interview. Unfortunately, we are unable to offer you a position at this time. After careful consideration, we have decided to pursue other candidates whom we feel more closely meet our needs. Many employers send emails declining qualified candidates all because of a tattoo or piercing. And all I can say is, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I'm not the closed-minded individual who implements the undermining ideal that tattoos and piercings are unacceptable. Today, I'm going to convince you on why tattoos and piercings should not be abolished in the workplace. Tattoos and piercings reject conformity and opens more opportunities for those who are as dedicated to their work as they are to their tattoo. By a show of hands, how many of you consider yourselves creative? Okay. How many of you like speaking your mind? Great. Now, how many of you are willing to sign a petition abolishing your First Amendment right, freedom of speech? While it may sound crazy that anyone would give up one of their rights, many Americans are willing to do this for the sake of a job. I have multiple tattoos and piercings, and while in possession of these, I was able to work for the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, nonprofit organizations, and now I pursue a life in the military. Today, before I begin, I want you all to have the understanding that we would discuss the cultural significance of tattoos and piercings, their contributions to those in society, and policies on tattoos and piercings. Let's look at tattoos and piercings at a different perspective. People with tattoos and piercings can be intimidating. When you see them, you may think they're dirty, criminals, dangerous, and not job-worthy. But did you know tattoos and piercings are tagged to many cultures? According to the article, The Culture of Body Piercings by Vicki Sampson, Kenyans, Africans, and Indians use piercings for tribal practice or to enhance beauty. For instance, a practice in India derived from Hinduism is nose piercings. The night before a woman marries, it remains customary that Hindu women of childbearing age pierce their left nostril. In African cultures, their practice is ear piercings. People believed evil spirits entered the body through the ear. The evil spirits were said to hate metal of any form. Thus, as protection, they would pierce their ears to prevent this from happening. In ancient Samoa, tattooing played an important role in both religious rituals and warfare. Now, let's not look at what we are willing to do for a tattoo or piercing, but what they do for us. The 21st century is a world filled with accepting new challenges, equality, and hope. Johnny Depp said, "My body is my journal, and my tattoos are my story." For many people, tattoos are their icebreaker. It is their way for allowing for you to get to know them. Asking someone about their tattoo and what inspired it opens the door for a conversation that could then lead to a friendship. In the article, Tattoo Psychology by Keith Karam, he stated that people get tattoos for many reasons: self-expression, artistic rebellion, freedom, or to display a visual personal narrative. In the article, Piercings and Tattoos by Mishidael Seard, Barry alumnus Felix Vega Pagan stated that he loved tattoos since he was 7. His father had a tattoo, and he remembers it being normal in his family. For him, it's a way to show who he is, where he came from, his motivations, and where he wants to go. Other students like Lauren and Aspen feel the same way. We do not know everyone's struggle. What if their tattoo or piercing meant a road of self-acceptance? Why strip that away from them? Furthermore, why say they shouldn't deserve a job over it? We are in a world where everything costs money, and by allowing a tattoo or piercing to be the reason they cannot get a job, is taking away food from their mouths and whoever else they have to deprive for. That leads me to my next point about the military. Military personnel follow a strict standard. In the Air Force, they follow the AFI 36-2903, which is the standard for dress and personal appearance, which permits the wear of tattoos as long as they are not affiliated with gangs, extremists, supremists, nudity, or vulgar language. According to the article, Air Force Loosens Tattoo Rules, Recruiting Restrictions by Charles C. Panzino, airmen were previously not allowed to have tattoos on their back and extremities that were larger than 25% of the exposed body part. However, this changed February 1st, 2017, after a review showed that almost half of contacts, applicants, and recruits had tattoos, some of which required a review and could be considered disqualifying. By lifting the 25% rule, the Air Force opens the population eligible for joining the service. In Sears' article, she also mentioned major companies like Apple, Amazon, Google, and Ticketmaster for appreciating and accepting tattoos and piercings their employees have. The YMCA allows tattoos as long as they're not offensive or vulgar, and they allow the wear of piercings. While for you, that may seem like nothing, for me, that means I can go to work and be comfortable as I am. In conclusion, tattoos and piercings are becoming more acceptable in the workplace. While I discussed the cultural significance of tattoos and piercings, their contribution to those in society, and policies on tattoos and piercings, I hope you were able to see why this is only the beginning of a controversial topic. And while I stand here in all my beauty, coming before you as an intellectual, an advocate for tattoos and piercings, I have some questions. Do my tattoos and piercings make me any less of an intellectual? Do they make me any less of a person? Think about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Naja. Our speaker will now field 2 questions, one from our faculty officials and one from our audience. She'll be allotted 45 seconds to address each question. Our first question comes from our official faculty board, Dr. Sean Foreman.
Thank you. Naja, you did a fantastic job making many excellent points. I'm not going to ask for refuting those points, but I would like to hear you respond to, are there some jobs where it may be reasonable to restrict visible tattoos in the workplace? For instance, as noted in the Buck article, if you are in a healthcare setting, it may be offensive in a hospital setting, it may be unprofessional. Also, as noted, the young man, Felix, you mentioned, decided not to get a tattoo because he wanted to work at Disney, and he knew that he would be disqualified there, and he waited till later. And it was also mentioned that in certain industries, like the food industry, that customers don't want to see it. So I just want to stick with, you mentioned that it may be intimidating to some people. So isn't it reasonable for certain professions like healthcare, food industry, and entertainment to restrict visible tattoos for the comfort and safety of their patrons?
That was a great question. I believe that tattoos show your creativity, and sometimes for others they show a fantasy. So places like the healthcare profession, people are in there because something is wrong. They may be sick, they may not be feeling well. If the tattoo isn't offensive or vulgar and they see it, it might trigger something happening in them. So if they're injured and they see that tattoo, that may make them realize that they have more to live for, because some people in the hospital don't want to continue on. In places like Disney, it's a happy place. If the tattoo is not offensive or vulgar, why get rid of it? The tattoo might add on to the happiness in that facility. And with fast foods, you're working. Food is great, your tattoo is better. Let's talk about it. We can create a friendship. That's what I believe.
Our second question should come from the audience. So do we have an audience member who is willing to come up and ask a question? Yes. Please come to the mic.
So as you were saying, you see that tattoos are ethical. Back to, I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but back to the previous questions, that in some job places, some tattoos are seen as unethical. I don't know what you're saying. But, oh, speak up? Oh, I'm sorry. Is this good?
Can you say your question again?
Oh, but like what I'm trying to get to is that would you see a president with face tats and full of piercing? Do you see that as ethical? Because I, for one, don't, and I want you to persuade me real quick.
Okay. Face tattoos, that's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. So I can see why it would be deemed unprofessional, but for me, I like tattoos. Because, for instance, the one on my arm says, "Hold on, pain ends." Because growing up, I've been through some very traumatic things. So seeing that my president might have a tattoo, it'll make me feel more connected to he or she. I'll feel like I can trust my president more, and I won't be so hesitant about what decisions they make. So that's what I can say for that one.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We will now move on to our second speaker. Our second speaker is Joseph Minami. He is a junior and his major is computer science. He will attempt to convince you that immigration policies like TPS do not cause a strain on the U.S. economy. His speech coach is Professor Tiffany Knowles. Let's please welcome Joseph.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joseph Minami. In the early 19th century, my country was colonized by the Belgium. They contributed to the divide of two ethnicities, the Hutus and the Tutsis. The kingdom separated into separate states, Burundi and Rwanda. Great conflicts and mass killings arose. In Burundi, 200,000 people were killed. In Rwanda, 800,000 people were slaughtered. The world called it the Rwandan genocide. My family fled from Burundi into Rwanda, and then they fled again into Tanzania. In 1998, I was born in Camp Lukole. Families had lost everything. I lost my two brothers in this camp. In 2006, my family would get one more chance to move one last time, this time into the United States. Today, I will persuade you that immigration policies like temporary protected status does not create unnecessary strain on the U.S. economy. TPS members are your family. They are your friends. They are your teachers. They are members of your community. They are you, and they are me. Today, I will convince you that TPS provides integral members of society. They contribute to the economy, and also they give families the opportunity to lead a safe life, making them more indebted than even an American who was born here. Let's discuss society's integral members. TPS beneficiaries have lived here for an average of 19 years. They are collectively raising a family that include 275,000 US-born children. Immigrants have done more than enough to make America great. Consider Farah LaRue here. She's a TPS holder. She was a TV personality back in Haiti. Now she lives in Miami, and she gives a voice to the Haitian communities across the United States. Just last week, she gave at FMU, she held a symposium about economical development through creative arts. Second, TPS contributes to the economy. According to Johannes Charles in the Buccaneer's fall edition, 46,000 Haitians are protected under TPS. And as stated by the Center for American Progress, TPS holders from El Salvador, Haiti, and Honduras are employed at high rates. They work in many sectors, such as construction, landscaping, and restaurants. And listen to this. If all TPS recipients from El Salvador, Haiti, and Honduras were deported, the U.S. gross domestic product could see over $164 billion lost, a Social Security loss of about $6.9 billion, and businesses can expect over $900 million in turnover costs. But most importantly, TPS gives families the opportunity to lead a safe life. Right now in Haiti, there's civil unrest. There is a lot of crime. There are protests in the streets against the current government. The current administration, the current government. Right now in Haiti, yes, TPS sorry. There's something more important. TPS gives families the opportunity to lead a safe life. Some TPS have been in America for, oh my gosh. TPS has TPS has been a lifeline for many Haitians, for many individuals already in the United States already. TPS has been a lifeline for many individuals already in the U.S. It has, when problems in their home country makes their departure impossible. In Haiti right now, there's a lot of crime and civil unrest. You can do something about it. We need Representative Pelosi to champion legislations that would allow permanent protection for countries like Haiti. I'm doing my part. I'm currently working on a book that I hope will inspire or even influence the humanitarian act of providing a home to displaced persons of the world. No one deserves to live in fear. Everyone deserves a home that is safe and warm, like my family did here in the U.S. George Washington once said that he had always hoped that this land might become a safe and agreeable asylum to the virtuous and persecuted part of mankind, to whatever nation they might belong. Ladies and gentlemen, these were the words of the founding father of this great country. Thank you.
Our speaker will now field 2 questions, one from our faculty officials and one from our audience. He will be allotted 45 seconds to address each question. Our first question comes from our official faculty board, Dr. Sean Foreman.
Thank you. Joseph, the topic of immigration could be very expansive. Many questions I would like to ask on this. We actually had a deliberative dialogue on this topic of TPS on campus 2 weeks ago. Let me focus specifically to ask you on TPS, which is Temporary Protective Status for people from specific countries. Haiti is one that you mentioned, as opposed to people who are coming, migrating to the United States from other countries that might come legally or illegally, all right? TPS allows you to stay here temporarily. Here's my question. How long should the T be? How long the temporary before it's decided that the conditions are fine in Haiti or another country to go back to? And or do they get to stay there as long as they want to? To get to your topic, isn't TPS kind of a backdoor way to get to stay here with legal status and ultimately hope to become a citizen, skipping the line of the other people who are trying to immigrate from other countries that don't have TPS? I hope that makes sense. If
Yes,
not,
it
I can
makes sense.
clarify.
Actually, it's not true. TPS is, yes, temporary protection. It doesn't really, there's no way for you to become a citizen through TPS. And it's usually like 6 to 12, 18 months, and you get to renew it after years. So after the termination, you get to renew.
Okay, our second question is going to come from the audience. So does anybody want to come up to the mic and ask a question? You can come up to the mic.
So I know you spoke about TPS, but my question is do you think that affluent nations have a duty to let everyone into the country?
Sorry, could you repeat that, please?
So do you believe that like affluent nations, like the United States, who have like an abundance of like goods and things to give, should allow everyone into the country?
No, I don't think you should allow everyone, but you allow those who are in need of safety, those who are in need of a home. It's that you don't just open the door for anyone. It's about, and the people that come here, they come through a process, and most that come here legally they'll get vetted and they get it's a process. So not everyone should be just walking to the country.
We would like to thank both speakers for their excellent speeches. We would now like to move into the debate section of the event. Each topic in this section has two debaters, one arguing for the affirmative side and one arguing for the negative side. Each debater will have 5 to 7 minutes to make their points, and once both sides have finished, we will move into a question and answer portion. Each debater will field 2 questions, and then they will have 45 seconds, once again, to address each question.
Our first debate topic is quick apps like Uber, Grubhub, and Wish do people more harm than good. Our first speaker is Aaliyah Polanco. She is a freshman and her major is pre-nursing. She will attempt to convince you that yes, quick apps do more harm than good. Her speech coach is Professor Tiffany Knowles. Let's please welcome her. Our second speaker is Olivia Lucier. She is a freshman and her major is pre-nursing. She will attempt to convince you that no, quick apps do not do more harm than good. Her speech coach is also Professor Tiffany Knowles.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Aaliyah Polanco. So, with a show of hands, how many of you guys can say you have used any of the following? Uber, Grubhub, or Wish? Okay. Now, how many of you have also had a bad experience with any of those apps as well? That's what I thought. For those who aren't familiar, Uber is a ride-sharing app, while Grubhub is a food delivery app. And lastly, Wish is an app to purchase or sell items that also get delivered straight to you. Today, I will persuade you that Uber, Grubhub, and Wish, and other apps like these actually do more harm than good. If you use any of these apps, chances are you haven't had a healthy meal, a nice walk, or a stress-relieving retail therapy day in a long while, so pay attention. But don't get me wrong, I have no intentions in pointing the finger, because I too have spent my money with these companies in the past. I got well informed, and today I want to make sure you guys also do the same. By the time I'm done with my speech, you will, 1, know why your health is decreasing because of your choice of using Grubhub. 2, know the danger your safety faces the minute you enter an Uber, especially as a woman. And 3, know how ultimately this is affecting your wallet big time. Let's start with your health. Research shows that the more these apps increase in popularity, the more we are digging ourselves an early grave. Kiana Brockington wrote an article on the Buccaneer 2019 Fall Edition, how Uber Eats, Grubhub, and other delivery apps destroy restaurant biz slowly. She used data from eMarketer, popular market research company, stating, global downloads for food delivery apps increased 115% from 2016 to 2018. So much gained popularity makes you wonder why. Easy, affordability. Anyone can afford it, even us, college students. There's a wide range of fast food that you can receive in 15-minute stops with one click. Foods I know you're familiar with, like McDonald's, Taco Bell, and Wendy's, directing us to our main concern, quality. If you pay for a $5 meal, the quality of a $5 meal is what you'll be ingesting. As a former fast food worker, I can assure you it's very low quality. Most times, because customers aren't physically there, the order is treated with less importance. Done with old food, using old products, or made last. While working the drive-through line, the front counter line grew longer, and we were forced to prioritize, which meant app orders were last. As college students, without a car, you will perceive food delivery apps are very convenient. But have you ever thought to yourself, what happens to your food before it finally gets to you? On July 29, 2019, Daniel Avery published an article in Newsweek that contained data by US Foods, which reported a full 28% of delivery drivers have admitted to taking food from your order. And 58% of drivers have admitted to being tempted by the smell. Completely unsanitary. Not to mention the complete nuisance of waiting on your food only for it to be the wrong order. App delivery drivers are timed, therefore don't have the inclination to make sure your order is correct before arrival. According to an article on Inquisit published July 12, 2015, a sedentary lifestyle combined with poor diet may lead to such health issues as high cholesterol, heart disease, insulin resistance, and even diabetes. All conditions that are easily developed through obesity. With the American Heart Association stating that nearly 70% of adults are overweight or obese, those aren't chances you would want to take. In the Buccaneer article, Brockington interviewed a senior psychology major here at Berry, Felicia Etienne. She uses DoorDash and Uber Eats. She states, I still talk to people, but physically, I'm not getting active and actually taking time out to have a walk somewhere. I'm letting somebody do it for me. Now that we have discussed health, let's discuss safety. Uber. Many will argue that they're extremely convenient, accompanied by low fares to far destinations. But what price are you willing to put on your safety? CNN has documented at least 103 Uber drivers accused of sexually assaulting or abusing their passengers in the last 4 years. Those numbers are harshly alarming, considering that majority of the victims are women who are under the influence who chose to take an Uber because it was the safer thing to do. Or in the case of two gay males from Atlanta, published on Project Q July 1st, 2016. The incident report stated, once the ride arrived at the apartment, the driver stalked the man at gunpoint when they reached out of the car. This, as you can imagine, was pure discrimination. It could have easily got worse, and someone could have lost their life. For my app users who raised their hands earlier today, let's hit you where it hurts, your wallet. According to a 2019 Forbes report, just in third quarter gross food sales, Grubhub reported $1.4 billion. Uber is valued at $80 billion, and Wish is valued at $1 billion. All billion-dollar businesses. Feel proud of yourselves. This all wouldn't be possible without your money, of course. An average Uber ride costs you $8. If you order 3 Ubers a day in just a year, you're wasting enough money to actually buy yourself your own car. Now Wish, a great app to order super affordable jeans for a night out, if they fit. Take it from a former customer, Buster Smith, who left a sincere review on Quora.com. Out of 58 items ordered, 15% are totally negative reviews, while 25% are okay reviews between the lines of not good, but not bad. The major downfalls would be the delivery tips and fees. Shannon Lau stated in her article on TheVerge.com, March 19, 2019, I ordered a 10-piece McNugget meal for $9.69, but before taxes, 86 cents. The booking fee is $4.99, my total being $15.54. That's almost a $7 additional cost just in fees, almost as much as her order. Is it really worth it? In conclusion, being in the 21st century, we look at apps as an easy way for our everyday necessities and entertainment, while they negatively affect our health, our safety, and our finances. It's time to move past our ignorant mindsets of what you don't know won't kill you, because now you know. And now that you know, what you do with this valuable information is in your hands. Thank you.
Good evening, guys. I'm Olivia Lucier. It was an early Sunday morning around 8 o'clock, and I had just woken up with a severe and pounding pain in my chest. Scared, of course, I called my mom, and I asked her what I should do. She told me to gather my belongings and to take myself to the nearest ER, but the big question was, how was I going to get there? I, like most college students, am on my own for the first time and have no car, meaning that I had no way of getting myself where I needed to be. Fortunately for me, she was able to call me an Uber, but without it, I'm not sure if I would have made it to the ER that morning. Today, I'll be sharing with you all the true benefits of these quick apps and what they provide for us on a day-to-day basis, as they do much more good than they do harm. Uber and other quick apps can be used to help an individual at work or at school or whatever the case may be. I know you all would agree that the opportunities are endless. I chose to emphasize and discuss the positives of these quick apps because, well, we live in a day and age where everybody is discussing the negatives, when in reality, they help us in ways we could only imagine just a few short decades ago. For example, I'm able to use the Find My Friends app so that we're able to see where each of us are at any given time and that we're safe from harm. First, I'll be discussing the type of apps that can be literal lifesavers for you. Secondly, what their main benefits are. And finally, some very specific cases in which these apps have saved the lives of people just like me and you. I'd like to share with you some very specific apps that you may or may not already know that can serve you well, and I'll divide them into 4 relevant categories, which will include nightlife help, health help, money help, and food help. For nightlife, I'll be discussing the Noonlight app. For health help, I'll be discussing the ICE Standard app. For money help, I'll discuss our banking apps. And finally, for food help, I'll be discussing Uber Eats. According to the National Sexual Violence Resource Center, 27% of college women have experienced some form of unwanted sexual contact, and nearly 2/3 of college students experience unwanted sexual harassment. Many apps have been designed to decrease these statistics and help get users home safely, but Noonlight is no exception. Noonlight is an app that consists of a single button that you press and hold until you've reached your location. If you remove your finger from the button and do not enter your PIN within a few short seconds, the app will actually contact the local police for you. So if you're ever walking through an unsafe area or if you're walking alone and feel threatened, Noonlight actually allows you to hold the button until you reach your safe destination, your dorm, or your home. Although this app does cost around $3 a month, your life and safety are priceless. According to the customer reviews written on Amazon.com, one user wrote on February 9th of 2018 that, "Every time I've tapped the app on my phone, whether it's on accident or on purpose, I've received an immediate response. If I don't input my PIN within a few short seconds, they immediately send help, and I now feel safer anywhere that I am." Another great app that you can use in times of need is the ICE Standard app. Created in December of 2010, this specific app was created with the intent to help first responders help those who were unconscious or unable to verbally communicate. This app allows first responders to view your medical card by placing it as your lock screen. Yes, having your medical card information present for all to see may be a concern for some, but being able to retrieve this information about an individual is vital. Even here at Barry, we've integrated an app into the student health program called The Healthiest You. According to our Director of Student Health Services, Eileen Agenheinlein, the Healthiest You app is an excellent resource for individuals who are experiencing episodic illnesses such as influenza, and it can even be accessed from the comfort of your home or dorm. We also now have 24/7 access to U.S. board physicians. All you have to do is call, sign up online, or of course, download the Healthiest You app onto your phone. By a show of hands, how many of you have had issues with money? Not only do these apps help us when we need it the most, they have unlimited benefits outside of the safety and health aspects side of things. For example, our banking apps allow us to monitor our accounts and even help prevent fraud by sending alerts directly to our phone or email. Yes, these apps require some access to some of your private information, but they serve as useful tools when it comes to managing and keeping up with your transactions. My online banking app has changed my life drastically. I actually use the Wells Fargo app up on the screen here. There's no better feeling than waking up on a Friday morning and seeing that direct deposit. Uber Eats has also become a popular and convenient food delivery quick app. This app arrived on the scene of August of 2014, and it allows users to order from a variety of food and have it delivered directly to their door. According to the article, Restaurant Insider, a whopping 87% of Americans believe that this delivery app makes their life easier, and the students here at Berry would also agree. Buccaneer newspaper staff writer Kiana Brockington interviewed Anna Caroline Aguilar, a senior English major here, in the winter 2019 issue, where she stated, "It helps me a lot. I would have had to walk or Uber, and my life is way easier with this food app." These apps can be used for a variety of reasons, as you can see, but for some, these were actually the difference between life and death. On June 7th of 2019, author Sanja Haller of USA Today published an article called "This Teen Didn't Come Home." Mom says the iPhone app she uses saved daughter's life, that discusses how the Find My Friends app, an app that I mentioned earlier, which allows users to view their family and friends' location, saved her daughter's life after she crashed her car 25 feet down into a ditch. Her mother stated that if we didn't have that location, we would have never known where to look, and I'm certain that that is what saved her life. Today, I was able to share with you all some excellent life-saving apps, what their benefits are, how they could possibly help you, and finally, some very specific cases in which these apps have saved lives. By a show of hands, how many of you have at least one of the quick apps that I mentioned here today? 2? More? If you're going to download any of them, let it be the Noonlight app. When we leave here tonight, it will already be dark, and long walks back to dorms such as Dominican Hall can be scary, especially if you're alone. This app, like many, could mean the difference between life and death. Thank you.
Our debaters will now take a seat next to each other, and they will field 2 questions, one from our officials and one from our audience. Our first question comes from our official, Jimena Valdivia.
It's fine. Hi, thank you for your speeches. You already addressed the topics from the point of view, from the consumer point of view. So I would like to know what are opportunities and concerns that these quick apps offer to traditional employees and business owners?
Great question, and a smart point. So if you read the Buccaneer 2019 Fall Edition, it goes a bit more into depth about that. It states, so restaurants, if you're getting applications like Uber Eats, Grubhub, or Postmates, which are delivery apps, they go in bikes and get your food and bring it to you. Code, probably. But they're destroying this, because if you can just order and get it at your house during 15 minutes, what would be the point of getting out and actually going to get food? Less customers equal less interactions. Restaurant business dies slowly, even though I know it seems impossible, because technically they're still buying food, but it's not personally in the restaurant. Therefore, aren't supposed to give tips to waitresses or anything. Destroying business is definitely something this is doing. Thank you.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question one more time, please?
So what are opportunities and concerns that these quick apps offer to traditional employees and business owners?
Well, they open up a variety of new opportunities. It actually allows them to expand their businesses. For example, like in fast food restaurants, it allows them to deliver more food faster, which is the point, right?
Thank you. Our next question will come from the general audience. So does anyone in the audience want to come up to the mic and ask a question? Okay. Oh, okay.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I wanted to ask, how effective do you think these apps are in countries that don't have access to internet and stuff like that? Do they still hold the same argument that they do in America?
I guess it depends on the location, because obviously for some places it's just not possible, but I'd like to think that they help advance instead of decline. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you to both of our debaters. We would now like to move on to the second debate. But she didn't. Okay, sorry.
All right. So as to that, I would say that doesn't really affect it, because honestly, in America, like I had mentioned earlier with my stats, we're obese, sadly. So in any other country, this wouldn't be affecting anything, because only we crave food at 3 in the morning. Only we want to eat so much fast food. It's only us. So no, it will not be affecting any other countries, I think. Thank you.
Well, thank you, debaters. Our second debate topic is, our society's increase in mental health awareness has fueled feelings of depression and suicide in teens. Our first speaker is Kayla Poston. She is a freshman and her major is pre-nursing. She will attempt to convince you that yes, increased mental health awareness fuels feelings of depression and suicide in teens. Her speech coach is Professor Juan Arango. Our second speaker is Talia Mittler. She is a freshman and her major is psychology. She will attempt to convince you that no, increased mental health awareness does not fuel feelings of depression and suicide in teens. Her speech coach is Professor Juan Arango as well. Please come up.
Hello everyone, my name is Kayla Poston, and let me just be honest with you guys from the start. When I was writing this essay, I told my mom, I was like, you might as well just kill me now, because this speech just makes me want to die, because I had so much stress, I was so anxious. I was like, Mom, just kill me, like I can't do it. And now when I'm looking into the audience, I noticed that some of you guys were smiling or just looking around laughing about what I just said. And my question is, what about anything that I said was funny? What about me wanting to die and what me telling my mom that I wanted to kill myself was funny? In today's society, the saying, I want to kill myself, has been so widely used that nobody knows if you're being serious or if you're joking. I've heard people say, I have so much homework, I should just kill myself. Oh, this practice was so hard, I should just kill myself. Are you being serious or are you just joking? In the Buccaneer by Janelle Jacobs, she wrote an article about the TV show 13 Reasons Why, which is about a teenager named Hannah Baker who ended up killing herself because of bullying and then sent out 13 audio tapes to everybody she thought influenced to her death. According to The Atlantic, after this TV show came out, there were multiple increases in Google searches related to suicide. Familiarizing education and suicide will only motivate these teenagers and adolescents to feel these types of ways. In 2013, there was a phenomenon that went on around the star Justin Bieber. During that time, he was going through a rough patch where he was just doing alcohol, doing drugs, smoking marijuana, and their fans were very upset about this. So they started a trend, Cut for Bieber. In this trend, these young girls would cut themselves and then upload pictures on the internet and then inspiring others to say, hey, if you cut yourselves, maybe he'll stop doing these drugs. If you cut yourselves, maybe he'll start to feel better and he'll give us attention that he wants. Some of these girls don't understand the difference between sad and depressed. These two words have so many different meanings, but they are used so interchangeably that it takes the meaning and the urgency away from words like depression, kill myself, suicide. According to Science Direct, the age group that has self-harm and suicide the most is ages 12 and up, which is preteens. My question is, how do they know what these self-harm ways are? How do they know the ways to kill themselves? How do they know that if you cut vertically, that will send you to the hospital, and if you cut across, it won't work? Now I want you to think, if you guys had daughters or sons who had cuts on their wrists and they came home and then you asked, where did you get them? And they said, oh, I learned about self-harm in my health class, and they said that some girls and boys use this when they're feeling sad to take the pain away. Why are we giving them these outlets when we could be giving them, like, hey, this is the National Suicide Prevention Line, 1-800-273-8255. But no, we're giving them outlets like, cut yourselves. It'll take the pain away, even if it's just for a little bit. I believe that education should be used to a certain extent. I do not believe girls and boys in middle school have the full capacity to understand the real depths of suicide, the real depths of self-harm, because they don't understand what it fully means. They just think, hey, that girl over there, she's getting a lot of attention from saying she wants to kill herself, and I'm not getting that attention. So I'm gonna start saying I wanna kill myself. I'm gonna start saying I'm cutting myself just to get that attention. How do you know if they're being serious? How do you know if they're joking? Some people may say, this is not a problem in today's adolescence. Mental health is not an issue. These girls understand and these boys understand what they're saying and what they're doing. It's not a big issue. But according to the Centers for Disease Control, that's not the case. Suicide is actually the second leading cause of death in youth today. I want you to think about that. The second leading cause. And according to SAMHSA, which is the Substance Abuse Association, in 1996, there were only 30,000 suicide deaths. In 2019, that has raised over 20,000 and still rising. Today, there's over 50,000 deaths in today's youth just on suicide alone. Think about how many car accidents go on. Think about how many shootings there are in today's society. And then think about the number of suicide in youth today. Learning about suicide and self-harm is just going to increase these rates even more. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Talia Butler. I want everyone to close your eyes. Stop for a second and breathe. Think about those around you. Statistically speaking, 16 of you in the room today have been diagnosed or misdiagnosed with depression or suicidal tendencies. There are 16 of those in the room today, statistically speaking, that need mental health help. Mental health refers to our cognitive, emotional, and behavioral well-being. Well-being is a key term that is used in mental health. Those that look for mental health help don't have the well-being aspects that they need and deserve. From ages 15 to 24 years of age is the highest rate of suicide and depression in teens and young adults. According to the CDC, suicide is the third leading cause of death in the United States alone. That is just in the United States. Our population ranges much farther than the small country we reside in today. In 2017, there were over 5,000 young males that committed suicide, and over 1,500 young females that committed suicide. In 1990, Congress passed a law of Mental Health Awareness Act. Every October and the beginning of the month, every October in the beginning of the month, there is a week-long span that those take time to actually reach out. They take time to try and talk to high schools and colleges about mental health and how to raise awareness on the suicide and depression rates in teens today. If you can see, I know it's a small chart, but if you can see, from 1990, the rate of young men dropped drastically once Congress passed the 2015 Awareness Act. In 2013, the World Health Organization developed an action plan. The action plan takes place from 2013 to 2020. Now this plan is a 7-year plan. It starts with awareness first. They are going to speak to our representatives of our states. They're going to speak to our country representatives. They all would like to get together every year, and their objectives are to strengthen effective leadership, to bring awareness, to provide comprehensive, integrated, and responsive mental health associations. This is going to schools and going to middle schools and young kids, not necessarily teaching them what self-harm is, but teaching them that if they're feeling these detrimental mental health effects, that they have a way to get better, not necessarily meaning that suicide is the last route they need to take. There's always a way to bring well-being into mental health. Mental health does not mean that it's the end of the road. According to Janelle Jacobs, the 13 reasons why, that was a very big phenomenon. Going to high school, when all of this came out, all you heard of was, and I went to a small high school, my class was less than 120 kids. At least once a week, did you see the new show? Did you see how she killed herself? Well, that was crazy. We are spreading the wrong awareness. We need to be spreading something like WHO. What they're doing is they're trying to come up with a way for these kids to know that it is not the end of the road. That our strategies for promoting mental health awareness is a key in bringing health awareness. It doesn't mean that every kid now is going to start believing that suicide is the best answer. What it means is that they will now know that there is a way to get help, that it is not the end of the road for them. Thank you.
Thank you, debaters. Our debaters will now take seats alongside one another at the console, where they will field 2 questions, one from our faculty officials and one from our audience. Each debater will have 45 seconds to address each question. Our first question comes from our official, Jimena Valdivia.
How can promoting mental health and wellness awareness help teenagers build resiliency to cope with difficult situations or adversities?
So personally, I believe that bringing awareness to the situation with mental health allows for the teens to have a better outlet, not necessarily meaning that they need to do or act detrimentally to their health, but that they can always have someone to talk to. Me personally in high school, I always went to I always went to my guidance counselor. She was my best friend, good or bad. That was always the way I went. Thank you.
I believe that mental health awareness is being brought out in the wrong light, and this is why it's increasing the deaths of so many young boys and girls. Instead of teaching them about the violent ways they can deal with mental health, teach them about the ways that they can go ask for help, the resources they can take to find good ways to help themselves. Because if we keep promoting the bad awareness of mental health, it's going to be detrimental to all adolescents. Thank you.
Now we will take a question from the audience. So can you please walk up to the mic?
To what extent do you think we should learn about mental health?
I believe that we should learn about mental health at an age where we can fully understand it. I do not believe 11-year-olds or middle schoolers have the capacity to really understand the effects that mental health can have on them. But I do believe that we should learn about it, just not the violent ways in which it can hurt us. I think that we should learn about depression, but really make sure they understand the differences between sad and depressed. And I think that we should give them the outlets to help them, to help better their mental health, instead of teaching them about the ways that they can kill themselves, because we don't want their lives to end. We want to give them the counselors and the support and the lifelines they can use to make themselves feel better. Thank you.
So I fully agree with Kayla. I believe that instead of teaching our children suicide and depression, mental health as a whole, mental health reaches much farther than suicide and depression. Those are not the two key terms that should be used every time we think of mental health. Again, teaching them that there's always someone and somewhere to go to. Now, it might not be your family, it might not be your friends, but there's always someone out there that you can go to know that you're not alone, and there's an outlet. Thank you.
Thank you to both of our debaters. We would like to now move on to the third and final debate.
Our third debate topic is celebrities should regard themselves as role models in modern society. Our first speaker is Armaya Maureen. She is a freshman and her major is pre-nursing. She will attempt to convince you that yes, celebrities should regard themselves as role models in society. Her speech coach is Professor Tiffany Knowles. Our second speaker is Kevin Hunter. He is a freshman and his major is general studies. He will attempt to convince you that no, celebrities should not regard themselves as role models in society. His speech coach is also Professor Tiffany Knowles. Please come up.
Okay. Hello, my name is Armaya. As you examine these photos, you can see that these are kids dressed up as their favorite role models. You have Jennifer Lopez, Wiz Khalifa, Jennifer Lawrence, Beyonce, and even Nicki Minaj. Today, I'm here to persuade you that celebrities should regard themselves as role models in modern society. By show of hands, how many of you guys follow celebrity on any of your social media accounts? Figured. As you can see, nobody in this room can escape the life of a celebrity. We hear them on the radio, we see them on TV, and right through our very own phone screens. It is easy for people to become influenced by the power of celebrities, especially kids. As a little girl growing up, every year for Halloween, I wanted to be a princess. I wanted to act like them, I wanted to be like them, I wanted to look like them. Because this is what I saw on TV every single day as a child growing up. Celebrities need to take their positions as role models more seriously. Firstly, I will discuss what publicity means and its effects. Secondly, we will discuss the influence they have on the young and old. And finally, we will learn how their endorsement deals is further proof of their influence. To begin, the definition of publicity is to give attention to someone or something in the media. And of course, all the media's attention is on celebrities. For example, Kevin Durant. a famous NBA star who won 2 MVP awards so far in his career. Even though he has great talent, people still want to know more about him. So he shared that as a child, when he was only a toddler, his father abandoned the family, leaving his mother being an only single parent. As a result of him opening up about his childhood, people developed a connection with him, and this is where people begin to look up to celebrities as role models. According to the newspaper of Barry University, published by Mishidael Sear, it stated that since Americans are swamped with so much information on celebrities, they latch on to them, follow their actions, and even consider them their role models. Celebrities become role models in many people's lives, even though that was not their intention. This is why celebrities should be aware of the influence they have and take their positions as role models more seriously. Now that you know the meaning of publicity and its effects, let's discuss their influence. Celebrities have the power to affect the way people act, think, and feel about themselves. Let's talk about body imaging. Most of these celebrities that you see have flat stomachs, curvy hips, and tons of plastic surgery. If this is all we see in the media, imagine how it makes people feel. So now, a lot of people are resorting to surgery.
Any number of well-known celebrities, people bring in images of certain noses, lips, breasts, and that's what they would want.
I've always been told that I look like Michelle Rodriguez, and I love Michelle Rodriguez. She's bad, she's beautiful.
Michelle Rodriguez, the tough but sexy actress famous for her Fast and Furious persona.
Yeah, I need a chromic.
Rosie and Kitty are part of a younger generation of women who are happy to pay the cost and take the risks of plastic surgery to help channel their inner favorite celebrity.
This is what people do when they see celebrities do the same. According to Teens in Plastic Surgery, almost 65,000 teenagers between the ages of 13 through 19 received cosmetic surgery in the year 2015. This number is larger than the amount of students who attend Barry University and University of Miami combined. Crazy. I know you're thinking, why should celebrities regard themselves as role models if they have a negative influence? But that is the point. Even with celebrities' tainted past and disturbing actions, they still have an influence. Okay, so now we discussed the negative, let's talk about the positive. Celebrities use their platforms to bring awareness to situations that are not talked about. I don't know if you guys heard, but this is a young boy named Junior. He was murdered in New York last year by 5 gang members. They mistaken him for the wrong identity. Yes, most of the people on the East Coast knew about this situation, but people across the world have not. So Cardi B used her platform to bring awareness to the situation. According to the website Remezcla, published in 2018, stated that as a result of Cardi B using her platform, over $150,000 were donated to his funeral costs. Good or bad, celebrities have the influence to affect millions of people. They have the power to affect the way people feel and act upon a situation. So now we discussed their influence, let's talk about their endorsement deals. If you don't know, a celebrity endorsement is when a public figure is promoting someone or something on traditional and non-traditional media. For example, I'm sure we all know Fashion Nova. This clothing brand became famous from celebrity endorsements. They hired people such as Kim Kardashian, Kylie Jenner to promote their brand. According to the article, How Celebs Help Fashion Nova, the brand reached 6 million Instagram followers in 1 month from celebrity endorsements. This is the type of power celebrities have to make people buy these items. Another example. Is Stephen Curry. He has an endorsement with Under Armour. According to USA Today article published by Spirity in 2019, states Stephen Curry has a $20 million contract with Under Armour. I know you're wondering, why would these companies invest this amount of money in celebrities? The answer is simple. They have the power to affect the way celebrities are role models, so people will buy just about anything they promote on their social media. In conclusion, today we have discussed what publicity means and its effect, a celebrity's influence, and their endorsement deals. Celebrities should regard themselves as role models in modern society. If celebrities do not regard themselves as role models, will there be more violence? Will there be more people unhappy about their body image? What will be next? Thank you.
Any number of well-known.
This way? Hi. Hi. My name is Kevin Hunter. Imagine this. At the age of 12, you shoot your older brother after he took your jewelry. Thereafter, you're forced to switch from 3 high schools, all the while selling crack. You drop out to become a rapper, only to see that nobody likes your raps. You sell more crack, until one man sees your talent and offers to be your manager. In your mid-20s, with no other options left, you oblige and are hopeful. Would you want to model your life after this person? Here's an even better question. Would you want anyone, if you were that person, would you want anyone to model their lives after yours? Start over for y'all because we have to adjust that thing right there. Imagine this. At the age of 12, you shoot your older sibling in the shoulder. You have to sell crack. You switch from 3 high schools. In your mid-20s, you have no other options. You're only hopeful. Would you want to model your life after this person? And a more important question, would you want anyone to model their life after yours? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the story of Jay-Z. Today, I will persuade you that celebrities should not regard themselves as role models. Celebrities should only be role models for their family and friends because they are the backbones for our society, not a fan base. Having witnessed a celebrity attempt to be personal with her fans once, it can be quite tragic. My school had a celebrity come to speak to us after a hurricane had hit our town horribly. And let me tell you, it was not pretty. To summarize why celebrities should not be role models, I will be talking about how their images are plastic, that they should only want to be role models for the people that they love, which isn't their fans. How their mental health affects their behavior, and evidence, factual evidence of them saying they aren't role models. First of all, a celebrity is a made-up persona. Once someone is recognized for having a talent or influence, it becomes their marketing team's, it's their job to polish them off for the public and find them opportunities to showcase their abilities. This takes a lot of time and effort. The entourage is what makes the celebrities look cool. And if they're talented enough, it doesn't matter how real that coolness is. According to Yahoo.com, some of the most powerful people are reported to having 25% or more fake followers, one of them being CEO Mark Cuban. Cuban, along with many others, have proven that being a celebrity is a mind game, not actually having mass appeal. About a week after the hurricane had hit my town, Anne Hathaway came to speak to us, and I remember everybody there being so excited to see her there. Some even cried. However, her entourage escorted her right off the stage when she finished, taking no pictures with any of us. After that day, we all felt different about Anne Hathaway. According to the Barry Buccaneer's Winter Edition, writer Mishi Dial Seard interviewed John Rodriguez, a freshman here at this school, who said that celebrities aren't heroes, saying, quote, "It's prevalent for people to look up to celebrities and view them as heroes because we don't have real ones." It also mentions how we tend to cancel celebrities if they do any wrong. An example of this would be Kanye West claiming that slavery was a choice and received major backlash. According to E! Online, he's only living for his family. After saying, quote, "After I lost my mom, there was times I felt like I would put my life at risk. I felt like sometimes I didn't have something to live for. Now I have two very special people at the time, just his wife and one child, to live for. So we cannot assume that these people are bad if they live and love their families. Celebrities were put on their platform for one reason only, and that was to entertain us. That's it." So moving on to the mental health. So many others besides Kanye have suffered from mental health issues, okay? According to a 2019 article published by People.com, more than 50 celebrities have came out and said that they have mental health issues, either prior or since having the spotlight shined in their face. These are just some of the names mentioned, and every celebrity, whether you like it or not, must keep quiet about it because they don't want to lose their fans. They don't want to look weak. Nobody likes that. Here is some factual evidence to show you of celebrities saying they aren't role models.
Did you ever think, am I a good role model? You know, am I a good example for people on how to live their lives?
I'm not an example for people on how to live their lives, and never in my life would I ever set out to be an example for people on how to live their lives. I am a great role model because I'm only a role model for two.
Have you said your "I'm not a role model" commercial's the greatest thing you've ever done in your life?
Because it started the debate. Because if you go back and look when it happened, it comes up all the time too when the term role model comes up. It started a national debate. Just because I dunk a basketball doesn't mean I should raise your kids.
So in review, I've explained why celebrities shouldn't consider themselves as role models. We talked about their entourage, who they really love, their illnesses internally, and I brought up actual evidence of them saying they're not role models. And to finish off, in the words of Jay-Z, I wanted to play it up here, but we're having some problems, so I'll play it for you on my phone. Thank you.
Our debaters will now take seats alongside one another at the console where they will field two questions, one from our faculty officials, and one from our audience. Each debater will have 45 seconds to address each question. Our first question comes from our official, Jaden Amaro.
Thank you, and you guys did a great job. My question is, who should be our role models, and why can't role models be seen as our friends, family members, or coworkers?
So I believe that the people who should be our role models are the people that we love, that we see every day. These celebrities that we see online are fake. We don't know how they live. We don't know what they do. They have to sell an image because that's their job at the end of the day. They were able to convince enough people that they were a certain type of person. Whatever rapper, insert any rapper or singer, because nowadays it's getting exposed more and more for doing absurd things. These people will not care about us if we're left in the middle of the street. These people don't care about us. They see us as objects. They see us as money makers. That's why they invite us. You hardly ever see a celebrity have a show where it's free. You hardly see a rapper or singer have shows where they're free, because that doesn't make them money.
I also agree with him as well, but there are celebrities that are good role models that people look up to. Like, for example, as I used in my presentation, Cardi B. She didn't come from a very good home life when she was younger, but as a result, she actually became one of the most influential people that people look up to who are in struggle. So either if they're a bad influence or a good influence, people look up to them because this is what they see on a daily basis, whether or not they want to be a role model. If you're going to be a celebrity, you have to take the responsibility as well. It comes with a lot. So as a role model, with you being a celebrity, you have to realize that people are looking up to you. People want to be like you, especially kids as well. Thank you.
Our second question will come from the general audience. So does any audience member want to come up to the microphone and ask a question? Sure, you can come up.
So my question was if there's like a difference between being a hero and a role model. Like, does a role model mean that you have to be a perfect person?
No, a role model does not mean you have to be a perfect person. You can be a person who learns from the mistakes like we all do. So when you learn from your mistakes, especially if you're a celebrity, people are like, oh, she did this, well, I'm gonna learn from that too. And like, they kind of like feed off of what you give and what you've been through as a child or whatever you've been through your life. Thank you.
Wait, hold on. Can you please repeat the question, please? I'm sorry.
So my question was if there's a difference between being a hero and a role model, like what defines a role model?
Well, I mean, I feel like a role model is someone who's honest. Like I was talking about in my presentation, celebrities have an entourage who they pay for, who helps them make the right choices that they feel like are right. Whereas our parents, they don't have a team full of assistants to tell us how to parent. Our peers don't have a team full of other peers to tell us how to be our peers. So I feel like when it comes down to a role model, it comes from the heart. It doesn't come from online. It doesn't come from other people's experiences. It comes from what you yourself believe in. That's all.
Thank you to both of our debaters. You can have a seat. The judges will now be moving to another room to deliberate and pick the winners. Meanwhile, we would like to welcome Department Chair Dr. Vincent Verdeas to speak to us.
Hi, everyone. Thank you all for being here. I'm just going to take a few minutes while the complex calculations are being performed. There's a large ENIAC computer in the back room, and all the data is pumped into it. That's a 1950s joke. Well, first of all, thanks go out to the judges, of course, our distinguished guests, Provost John Murray, who's one of our great supporters in the department. It's really great to see you here, John. Certainly the student respondents, and of course all the student participants, because probably you all know that one of the greatest fears that people have is public speaking. So not only taking a public speaking class if you have other options, that's already an act of bravery where you're jumping into the void. But then on top of that, coming up here in front of cameras is something truly to be proud of. So congratulations to everyone who participated tonight. I don't know if you've been watching the news, but it's rough out there, right? What did I just say? It's rough out there. What's the answer? Besides Jesus. Good answer. That's a good answer, a good long history. Another answer that has a long history is, believe it or not, speech, right? And there's two components to that tradition that we've celebrated and actually wedged together tonight. One is the history of speech, just like what was done tonight, debate and rational argumentation that was at the foundation of Greek democracy, okay? So that's a tradition that the United States was founded on, the idea that people can come together and not act crazy, not attack other people from different opinions, but actually to lay out those opinions and suggest that we can, through rational deliberation, come to an agreement. And then there's something else that came together tonight, and that is the cameras, but also Professor Tiffany Knowles' wonderful efforts with the newspaper, because when the United States came together, it was at the dawn of using print to get the word out to people. So in a growing country, there was the idea that not only could we rationally deliberate and come to agreement over differences of opinion, but that we could use mass media to get the word out. Now, I know that sounds difficult to believe nowadays, but at the same time, we're living in an era where there's the World Wide Web, and there's continually propagating new media of mass communication. And although sometimes it's discouraging to look at what people do with those media, remember also that it's given us all of us the ability to communicate in new and profound ways with people literally all around the world. So, in a situation like that, the people that came up today and made arguments are participating in a long tradition of democratic discourse. And really, it's heroic to be able to get up here and do something like that. And I hope that that you go forth after your graduation and continue doing things like this, because it's something that we, as your teachers and members of this university, will always be proud of, right? Because it's the core of what's considered the liberal arts tradition. So once again, thank you all so very much, not only for coming, but thank you for participating in this wonderful event.
Thank you, Dr. Berdeas. We would now like to recognize the staff of the Barry Buccaneer who are in attendance today. We would like to ask that all staff members stand up and please the audience give them a round of applause for their hard work this semester. Thank you. Now, during this time, while the judges are deliberating, you guys may get up and get food from the back.
Hello? So the moment that all of you have been waiting for. We would now like... Okay, so seriously, the moment that you all have been waiting for. I'm now going to invite Professor J.R. Steele. It's fine? Okay. We would now like to welcome Professor J.R. Steele and Professor Jefferson Noel to announce the winners of this year's Stay Woke debate. So let's applaud them as they come to the podium.
Thank you so much. We are both very honored to be a part of this debate this evening. I'm really impressed. I'm the coordinator of the speech courses here at Barry University, and so many students. How many of you who actually delivered tonight are freshmen? Wow. So, what those of you who may not be in the classrooms may not realize is we saw these students, oftentimes they came into our class that we were the first class that they've ever been to. And you know, first day we're asking them to get up in front of a group of people and speak, and they were shaking. And they're not shaking now, okay? And so that, I really want to compliment the speech coaches. We have a staff, and we work hard. I would put our students in our classes. Today I heard some speeches that made my jaw drop, and I did tonight as well. So I'm really proud of the work that our students do, and we try to develop credible communicators, people who are able to move forward in their life and not cut corners. You know, citing and giving credit, it's about not cutting corners and being ethical. And that's at the core of our mission. And so I know that each of you, it took a lot of hard work. This came out at the time where your informative speeches were due in your classes. And on top of that, you had to find your way to come and do this debate. So everybody who participated tonight, we want to give you a round of applause. And we would like to give you a certificate of accomplishment. Now, do you guys realize that in participating, you realize as you build your resume, you want to include this as part of your resume, okay? So one day when you go to be a professor or you go to work for that company, this should be on your resume, okay? So, here we are. Oops, you got the names. Would you, okay, you good?
Yeah.
You want to start? You can go through and go through the names.
All right, as we call your name, please come to the front and receive your certificate. We have Nija Hilson. Joseph Minani. Aleo Polanco. Olivia Lucier. Kayla Poston. Tyler Mittler. Armia Maureen. And Kevin Hunter.
So at this point, we would like to look at the speakers first. Drum roll, are you ready? Okay. So, and the winner for the individual speakers was?
Drum roll, please. Nyla Hilson.
We just wanted to acknowledge you. There's not a separate certificate for that. Just so you all know, right now we're just letting you know for each debate who won. There's not a certificate. Then we'll tell you who had the top 3 positions overall. Okay. So now for the first debate, which was?
The first debate, quick apps like Uber, Grubhub, and Wish do people more harm than good. Ayla Polanco was the affirmative. Olivia Lucier was the negative. And the winner is Olivia Lucier. Congratulations. Our second debate was our society's increase in mental health awareness has fueled feelings of depression and suicide in teens. Kayla Poston was arguing for the affirmative. Taylor Mittler was arguing for the negative. And the winner is Kayla Poston. And the third debate, celebrities should regard themselves as role models in modern society. Armia Marine was arguing for the affirmative, Kevin Hunter arguing for the negative. And the winner was Armia Marine.
Would those 4 individuals please come up to the front? And now we will award the top 3 awards for the excellent work that you've done tonight. In third place,
we have Kayla Poston. And second place, we have Armia Marine.
and in first place,
we have, drum roll please, stronger than that, much, much stronger, we have Olivia.
Congratulations, each of you. I'd like to leave you with this thought. Public speaking, it's a course. Some of you will go on and actually speak in front of audiences on a regular basis. Truthfully, most of you probably won't. You may give, at a best friend's wedding, a toast. You may at a funeral be asked to speak on someone's life that you love. You may lead a team, but maybe not in a group like this. But what you've learned in this class and what you learned tonight is how to make your words come together to actually influence the people around you. So, communication, we have to communicate with other people. We have to communicate with teams, and we've got to get along in this world. When you can do that with a large group of people, you can take that skill set back. And I always like to say communication is at the core of every dream we have. If we can plug into that, we can reach our dreams. So I hope that each of you are one step closer to reaching yours. Thank you.
I'd like to take a moment to thank the judges for their participation in today's event. So can we all give them a round of applause? So now we are at the conclusion of the debate, but before we end, I'd like to invite the Buccaneers advisor, Tiffany Knowles, to give us closing remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you to all who are here. Thank you to our hosts, our judges, our amazing crew. We want to give John Muslin and Vladimir Lescaflair a hand for rallying all these troops. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, James. Thank you, Roy, in the control room. We appreciate you all. And this, as you know, is going to be on Barry TV. So we do have a TV station here at Barry. So our debate will be televised on that platform, as well as after that, it'll be on the YouTube channel and the buck.org. So, and then look for on Instagram for highlights, because that's going to be up very soon after. As you know, we're the media, so we have to make sure that we get the news out right away. So all of that will be available very, very quickly, okay? So I'd like to wish all of you a happy Thanksgiving, because this will be our last, as a Buccaneer newspaper, our last major gathering. And then we go away for a Thanksgiving holiday and we come back, and then it's pretty much finals after that. So I wish you all well on your finals, and I trust that you'll spend this coming week with friends and family. God bless you all, and have an amazing night. We'd like to take photos of all the speakers and the Buccaneer staff, so hang out here while Jimmy, our staff photographer, is going to come and take some photos of you. Congratulations to all the winners. Good night, good night, good night.